Okay, COVID-19 and the upcoming elections. I've been kind of tied up and busy lately. I haven't done a lot of videos on the pandemic and its effect, or what I call the global war on humanity, which is basically what it is, because it'd be the same thing. It goes back and forth. In this state, you know, last week, for example, they had one day where they said everything dropped down. They keep pressuring the governor. There's protests to open businesses. More and more places are shutting down, collapsing, filing for bankruptcy. Different places. And one day they do a report saying, hey, this is the lowest it's been since the start of the pandemic. Basically that's kind of sending a signal to the governor to open up the state. And then the next day, there in a 24-hour period, there were 1,000 fatalities from this. So many thousand more reported positive tests, and so you're in a situation where you can't believe anything on the news. And for people to say that this whole thing is not political, it's wrong. Because you're finding out when certain political agendas are not being taken care of or done, then all of a sudden the people elected just put more and more restrictions on there. And then the fear that they drive into people, not only just with this pandemic, but with the social unrest, the protests, violent protests, is just, creating even a worse situation. And the thing is, people have to realize that our elected officials are not doing anything. Okay, they're doing it more for a political agenda than for the general well-being of the people. And then people will argue, well, if you get the coronavirus or you wander around without a mask, blah, 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 yeah, they got you on that one. There's no way to argue that, You can't prove it, and you can't say that this train of thought is incorrect, okay? But I've seen people wearing 2 masks recently. They wear 2 cloth masks. And I really don't believe that it'll help you. If this is an airborne thing, it can get into your eyes, whatever. Unless you wear a total hazmat suit where you're filtering the air inside this encapsulated suit, okay, that's about the only thing you're going to be able to do to go out in the general public and not get this virus. Okay. Short of that, everything else is a bunch of BS as far as I'm concerned. Now where the political end comes in is because of this. And see, that's another thing in the United States. The states have varying laws when it comes to elections. This upcoming election is going to be a fiasco because they've asked you to mail in your votes. So the old retired people, and I've seen them come to the post office, they mail in their ballot, which there's nothing wrong with mailing in a ballot. I know people that work out of state or in the military used to do it all the time. But now they're doing it to where they're trying to convince everyone to mail in the ballots. So a lot of people, because they stay at home, they don't want to be exposed to the virus, are mailing in the ballots. But there's something they're already saying that if you don't have it witnessed, the signature witnessing it or something, there's a whole array of things where these ballots can be voided or not counted or whatever. Fortunately, in my state, we have early voting. It started a week ago, or maybe more than a week. It was a week, about 7-8 days ago. And when I was going to town running my errands, I noticed the one area, all these cars. The day they started early voting, the polls were overwhelmed with people coming in to vote. I went last Tuesday, and I went to the community center, me and the wife, and we voted early, and it was quite crowded. There was a good crowd there. People are voting early. You can take your time, go in there. You don't wait long. Vote and then leave. So I like that. Some states won't let you do that. Okay, there is no early voting in some states. And what this is all going to cause, and then the post office is been downsizing that to the point where they're getting a volume of mail that is overwhelming the post office, and the whole postal system is falling apart. My mail gets lost. These people are overwhelmed. They can't handle the volume of mail coming in because everyone does everything electronically. So now this is going to create a nightmare when this election does come, and it's going to be contested. It's going to be dragged on even longer than normal. You know, it'll be days after the end of the election before they finally get done. And then no matter who wins, I know there's going to be all kinds of litigation contesting the outcome of this election. And right in the middle of this, we're trying to nominate a Supreme Court judge, which is going to be kind of crucial into getting all this straightened out. So it is a political mess. The problem is there is a fear people seeing the country come to disarray like this. Okay, your first presidential debate was a three-ring circus. I watched parts of the second one where they kind of ran it different and it didn't get as crazy and out of control as the first one. But the same thing is going on. Each side accuses each other of something, wrongdoing, incompetence, mishandling things. And the coronavirus is one of the big things. The pandemic, who shut the country down too early, not early enough, this and that, and then, oh, it's this, and he's not doing his job, and all these people have died, and all this is going on, and people are getting, and as closer we get to the election, you think it was going to die down. Now they're saying, well, all these states that have loosened their restrictions are all having spikes in outbreak. Yeah, I'm like, oh boy. And if you look at this, there is a underlying political divide in this. So, you have to excuse me, I lost my train of thought there for a minute. But yes, it's showing a political divide in the U.S. And this is growing. And this doesn't help because it's the instability of our government and the fact they can't agree on anything is one of the underlying things that does frighten people. Now, how this translates globally is really, I haven't made a video in a while and nobody has chimed in yet, but I was conversing with a friend of mine in Australia who's told me that they haven't lifted, where he is, haven't lifted any of the restrictions in all this time. And with the guidelines they set up to where even if he lifts some of the restrictions, the way the guidelines are set up and what is required to do to open your business or to have a meeting hall or something, the Coliseum here in town is still closed. No sporting events, no nothing. They even tried to just have basketball games televised where just the players are there, and they won't let them do that. So all this time, the whole complex in Greensboro has been locked down, shut down, okay? And it's costing, they're losing all kinds of money. So, where this translates into is a lot of the foreign countries, I haven't heard much, but I believe they're not, they're still under this also. And this restrictiveness in that is coming down on everybody. And actually, over time, it does wear on you. I didn't let it bother me at first, but it is annoying. Certain bank branches, the ones that are close to my house, the ones I wanted to go to, they've been closed indefinitely since like May. I don't know how you can close a whole facility down indefinitely. Post office are closed, certain things, and you still have to do this weird crap to go to the one bank. You can only go in through one driveway and the drive-through and that, and have to make an appointment to go in and talk to somebody. But just the inconvenience is ongoing. Now, hopefully, once the election settles down and clears here in the States, and this, this is watched globally. The effects of our election does have an effect on other foreign countries. So this will be monitored throughout the world, I guess. So once this settles down, maybe, or how long that's going to take, will this pandemic thing settle down? Because the next thing is the flu season's coming. And people normally get sick here coming up in the next few months, okay? And they're talking about shutting the schools, at some of them that are reopened, shutting everything back down into a lockdown again. Okay, you can't go on like this. A lot of people agree, this can't go on. But we don't know. The uncertainty is another thing that drives fear. And like I said, the anxiety of it all. It's wearing on people, and it shows when you go out, how people drive, how people react. It's getting on everybody's nerves. Will we ever go back to normal? Is this some kind of evil thing that has sprung upon us and is the start of the end of civilization, or a change? We're morphing into a different society globally. I'm not just talking about here in the States, I'm talking all over. And curious thing though is some foreign analysts that were into the political stuff. The way the whole world has changed with technology and stuff, and the way things are done with energy, resources, how they travel from one side of the globe to the other. To have individual nations, people thinking of their own individual ethnic or cultural group, religion, whatever, this impedes the progress of where I believe the world is going to. This is the underlying thing. And the people who control things like energy, okay, the internet, oil, all right, all of this stands in their way. That's why people are pushing for a total global universal government, currency, no boundaries, no borders, one government and that. And to do this, you have to change the mentality of people in general. And that's what part, I think, this COVID thing is doing. It's psychologically pressuring you to where you just get to a point where, you don't care and you just want to just go on with your life. Okay, and whatever they say or do, yeah, we'll do it. Wear a mask, okay, whatever. They're just doing this because you get so much pressure just from everyday life, and on top of all this other stuff. And all you want to do is go on and live your life. That's what I want to do. I believe most people, that's what they want to do. But it's becoming more and more difficult to do it without somebody or something reaching in and forcing and trying to control your attitude and behavior. And you're surrounded by it. It gets to the point where I can't turn the TV on, listening to the news. I can't turn the radio on because every other commercial is telling you to wear your mask or you're, a threat to society, you're going to spread disease. I mean, it's just nonstop. And even on YouTube, yeah, I'm going to monetize my ads, and they're going to bombard this video with political ads this close. But I do make something off of it, so I might as well stick my hand out like the rest of them. Because something tells me once this election's over and all this clears, hopefully this coronavirus thing will kind of peter itself out. Maybe, maybe not. Okay? The election results are going to be another three-ring circus, and it's going to drag on. It's going to be a mess. People are afraid that there will be acts of violence once the elections are official, that one side that loses is going to, do something. So there's a serious amount of fear over that. I had to do a video on that concept all alone by itself. So, like I said, it's not quite clear what's going on. I guess we got to wait another week. I think it's another week or 2 weeks. See what the hell happens when it's all said and done. And hope for the best, because realistically, yes, things will be different. You have two different opposing sides, but it doesn't matter which one wins. Will anybody be any better off in the end? Okay, it's. But anyway, that's my take on it, and everybody stay safe, and we'll see in a couple of weeks how it all kind of irons out and if things get better one way or the other or not. But that's probably one of my, like I said, I haven't made a video about this in a bit because I've been kind of tied up and worried about other things, and really nothing much has changed. It's the same, BS. So stay tuned and take care.